Today's Cowboys Report is made possible by Manscaped. It is hot guy summer. Make sure your summer bod is set up correctly. At least up here with some, don't have just a bunch of awkward, ugly-looking chest hair like Jeremy does. Use promo code Cowboys at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping as I throw strays Jeremy's way for really no reason other than the fact that it is funny. Some super chats to break down on today's show from I'm a Mod God of COD. What record do you project for the Cowboys this year? We'll do our record prediction as well, a full in-depth breakdown as we get the schedule on Thursday this year. Probably around what it's been, right? Anyway, I think the over-under was set at 9.5, 10.5 wins, one of those two. I'll probably take the over again because I'm not scared. From Derek Taylor, F. Chugs, you can always put that in the comment section. What exactly is going on with Anthony Brown? Well, he blew out his Achilles last year. He needs time to recover, and he's not going to re-sign in Dallas. There's not the need at corner. There's too many bodies as is right now. So Anthony Brown will get healthy, sign somewhere else on probably a cheap one-year deal, and see if the now 30-year-old corner can extend his career even further. Now, Derek Taylor's comment was a super thanks. It is a feature out. It's basically super chat, but on demand instead of during a live show. You can donate outside of live videos now. Click the thanks icon in the comments or above the comment section. Edit your message. If you super thanks, we will show you some love here because we appreciate your support at the Cowboys Report. Did not mean to rhyme, but there we go. Ecuador Man AOG. Gallup or Armstrong least. Who saves more money? Gallimore is just under $3 million. Armstrong would be approaching $5.5 million. Actually, just over that number. So money-wise, Armstrong. Money versus what they bring to you? It might be Gallimore that saves you more in the end. From Pug Racer, what % chance do you give us to win the NFC? I think it's a mostly two-team race. Cowboys, Eagles, Giants in a separate tier below those two, and then the Commanders bringing up the rear because I don't think they're going to be very good this year. I think anything above, honestly, 35-40% is probably putting too much percentage on Dallas and or Philadelphia. Probably stops around there. It's probably just under 50%. And then Giants get some and Commanders don't get very much. Jay Elam. I think Hunter Lipke will make this team. He's got a shot at it. I think that kind of fullback, H-back, tight end hybrid role is valuable. Mike McCarthy's used it in the past. John Kuhn, for example. But he has to earn it as a blocker too. So he's a UDFA. Limited investment. He's got a shot. He does. But training camp will determine that one in the end. Pug Racer, cut Joseph and pay Ezekiel Elliott the vet minimum. If you're going to bring back Zeke, that is what I would go about doing. I'm not going to pay him more than maybe a little bit over the vet minimum because it's May 8th. As we film this live on a Monday. It's May. You don't have to be paying massive dollars to players like Ezekiel Elliott. That's not needed for this Cowboys team. So I got no complaints cutting Kelvin Joseph. He has to have a great offseason. I think Dallas has been fairly close to fed up with him so far. Stephen Hewitt, does Chetos have a consensus football trivia guy? Jeremy's in a trivia league along with Coop and Petey. Who's the best at the trivia of you three? Jeremy says him. Petey hosts a trivia league himself, so I'd actually probably go Petey on that front. He hosts the league. I don't know what to tell you. From C-Real, who will be our kicker? I don't know. Probably somebody not on the roster right now. Dallas, I think, wanted to look at kicker in the UDFA. Even late round draft pick, but Jake Moody went top 100. Thanks, Niners. Chad Ryland, who I know that John Fossil worked out, he brought him in for a workout. He went in the 4th round. So maybe it's like Brett Maher, like Gloria suggests. I actually have no complaints if they want to bring back Brett Maher, in all seriousness. Seems like that's not the route the Cowboys are going to go at this point, but I wouldn't hate it. I think they'll look at the free agency market. Now, can't believe I'm offering this up to you guys. Should we do a top kickers candidate video? Top kickers the Cowboys could sign or trade for, I guess we can throw in as well. Y for yes, N for no. Go vote at the pinned comment of today's video. Daj? I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. Do you think they will sign any post-June 1 cuts? Well, possible. I will make note that anyone who has been designated as a post-June 1st cut can sign whenever. Bobby Wagner, for example, and was a I think it was a post-June 1st cut designation. He signed a while ago. Zeke post-June 1st cut. He can sign whenever. Now, if more guys do get cut after June 1st, very possible. Dallas has the money to sign someone whenever they want. And I bet they make at least one move during camp because they love doing that. Turnover Boys by Dak Prescott. I think the fans like Jake Ferguson more because Travis Kelce compared himself to him. Schoonmaker is the best tight end on the roster. There's also the familiarity with what they know in Jake Ferguson. And we weren't hyping up this Luke Schoonmaker as a draft pick in round 2 in particular. We talked about him as a 3rd or 4th round option. I'll also put it this way. If they'd spent a first like a Dalton Kincaid, everyone would have been on board with him. Ecuador, man, just because you reach for Schoon doesn't mean better. He's not wrong. Draft picks do tend to not always work out, but the level of investment is a good indicator, not a lock, not a perfect indicator, of NFL success. Even if the Cowboys have missed on a lot of second-round tight ends in recent years, just means they're due. But, it's fair. I would say if the Cowboys thought Luke Schoonmaker wasn't the best tight end on the roster, they would not have picked him in round 2. Today's show is made possible by Manscaped. Summer is coming. Are you prepared to unveil your beach bod? Manscaped is here to make your body ready for the wild with their game-changing grooming and hygiene products. Don't be the guy at the beach with Austin Powers' chest hair. And if you grew some winter man tits, the least you can do is make sure they're hairless or at least significantly trimmed up and not looking really bad. You're ready for Hawkeye Summer by going to Manscaped.com and using promo code Cowboys, 20% off and free shipping. The Lawnmower 4.0 is the perfect waterproof and cordless body trimmer, and they've got everything you could possibly need with the Performance Package 4.0 when it comes to the Crop Reviver, the Crop Preserver, the most comfortable boxers known to mankind. Trim your chesticles with the besticles from Manscaped. 20% off and free shipping when you use promo code Cowboys over at Manscaped.com. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. It's Manscaped.com, promo code Cowboys. Ian Burns, Deuce Vaughn stat predictions. 1,000 yards on the ground. 500 yards, I'm kidding. If you can get to like 600 or even 500 yards total in year 1, that's a pretty darn good production for a 6th-round pick as a rookie. To put it in perspective, and I think every year we kind of get overexcited about the rookie production. Tony Pollard, his first year, had 455 yards on the ground, 107 yards receiving. Your over-under for Deuce Vaughn total yards should be like at 450. And I think that even might be on the higher end for a 6th-round pick. From Vince, I have a tough time seeing that most of our day 3 picks make the roster. We are little on that side of the ball. I think I'm referring to defense side of the football. I'll say this. The Cowboys love having their draft picks in their first year, at least their first year, make the team. They will invent injuries to stash them if needed. That's not a bad thing, by the way. They will do that. So your 7th rounder, Jalen Brooks, I think is a tougher time making it. But like Eric Scott, I know he wasn't the same investment as Joseph or Deshaun Wright, but he was the recent draft pick. They love getting those guys on the team. Banned for life. Do I want to know what for? Honestly, probably not. Trade for Patrick Queen. Pass. Queen is not exactly a cheap football player right now. And the Ravens clearly, by the way, don't want Patrick Queen on the team anymore. They traded for Roquan Smith and drafted Trenton Simpson in the 3rd round. They have no desire to make Queen a long-term piece for them. And Queen's got athletic upside. If he's available on the very cheap and there's an injury, starts to make some more sense, but I think Dallas wants what they have in Damone Clark. And I think the DeMarvion Overshown role is similar to what they would be asking maybe out of Patrick Queen. I also don't think off-ball linebacker right now is the biggest need for this Cowboys team. What do you think is the single biggest need right now for Dallas? Is it linebacker? Is it offensive guard? Sound off in the comments section. From Brokov, I think Jalen Marino Cropper could be a receiver 4 and used in gadget plays like Cedric Wilson. Probably not the gadget plays. I like Marino Cropper. I think he had a 5th or maybe a 5th, 6th round grade on him coming out of Fresno State. I would not be shocked if he made this team. I do think expecting a UDFA to be wide receiver 4 isn't a great idea, just because that's not necessarily that's asking too much. Like, that was Dennis Houston, right? And then he got cut mid-season. So he might make it. I don't think he'll make it, though, as more than maybe wide receiver 5 or 6. Chris B., who opened the season against? Well, if you're watching on demand, you'll know if I'm right or wrong, because this will go out after our schedule prediction stuff goes out. The Cowboys haven't played it in week 1 for a long time, and the NFL loves doing it? The Giants. Like, the Cowboys are overdue for a Cowboys-Giants season opener. From Preston Woods, we should re-sign Jason Peters if possible for line depth. He was good last year and would let Smith not to switch if Tyron eventually gets hurt. My question is, where do the Cowboys want to play Tyler Smith? If they want to play him at left guard, okay, then yeah, you can have Jason Peters. If they want to play him at left tackle, I'm looking at someone like Dalton Reisner or a guard to play him there, because you're right, I don't trust Tyron Smith to play healthy. So where is Tyron starting the year? Because that's where you probably want to get some extra depth at. Now, if you want to be a part of our award-winning mailbags, according to my mom, then make sure you are subscribed. Free videos every, what's that? Jeremy's mom also loves our mailbags. Awesome. Thank you, Mrs. Chugs. Make sure you guys are subscribed for free Cowboys videos every single day. Lenny V23, if we move on from Dak, what are our options? I will answer it seriously. Jeremy goes crash and burn. Yes. If you're moving on from Dak, you've decided this top 10 quarterback isn't good enough for you. So, like, going to, in recent example, a Derek Carr, a Jimmy Garoppolo, a Kirk Cousins-esque quarterback, that clearly doesn't work. Like, you clearly want more than that. So what you should do is tank. You should bottom out. You should start Cooper Rush for 2 years. You should sign a bad quarterback and say, this can be you should trade for Davis Mills and be like, he's young. You should trade for Zach Wilson. Give him a shot and disguise the tanking as, playing a bad quarterback, because you have a really good quarterback right now. If you decide it's not good enough, okay, you need to bottom out and get a young, cheap, high draft pick quarterback. Don't go back to the whole, we'll try this third-round guy. We'll try this baseball player again. If you do move on, it's probably, a year from now, over a year from now. You should tank. You should be bad and try to get that top 3 draft pick and gamble on the young guy, which, you know what? Maybe you get the next Josh Allen, next Joe Burrow. Yeah, maybe you don't. But you should gamble on the higher upside in that path than just trying to sign guys from that perspective. Daniel, is Michael Gallup going to be okay? Hope so. Tell you what, Gallup was not good last year. He just didn't have confidence. He didn't look. The Cowboys were trying to get Gallup going, and if they had him do comeback routes that he's feasted on before, he couldn't do them. He was slow coming out of the break and wouldn't go get the football. Like, that's the reality. There were plenty of interceptions his way. They were on Gallup. Go get the football, man. Don't just sit there and wait. That's how bad things happen. So I need 2019 Gallup. If I get even 2020 Gallup, that's a big step forward than the guy the past 2 years who has looked like a shell of himself. The Cowboys think of it. That's why they restructured his deal. I hope they are right. What is your confidence level in Michael Gallup at this point? Sound off in the comment section. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. What is your confidence level right now in Michael Gallup? Moxie's Mix. Out of all the Cowboys picks, which one are you uncertain of? The one I like the least for me was Schoonmaker, because that was a full round early for me than everyone else. Everyone else was like maybe a half round. I didn't do Eric Scott or Jalen Brooks in my pre-draft process, so I didn't have any great feel for them as players coming out. That's outside of like, I think I watched maybe one Southern Miss game. Like that's not a game I'm watching casually, right? I'm watching bigger games. Sorry to any Southern Miss fans out there. And then I think Jeremy says Miles Smith not great production. not wrong. Schoonmaker doesn't either. But those guys have the athletic traits that I feel better about. In the end, it's draft picks. Like they're always a little bit scary, right? They're always a little bit scary. From Nasty23, we need more wide receiver depth. One injury at wide receiver, and we are in trouble. I think one injury at the wrong spot, right? Like, if you lose Michael Gallup, you're probably like, okay. And I was actually thinking about this the other night, because I have no life, and I always think about this stuff. I think the Cowboys' number 4 receiver, if it's not Jalen Tolbert, isn't it Jake Ferguson? Isn't it Peyton Hendershot? I think the Cowboys at that point would lean in to multiple tight end packages. Think about it as playmakers, right? And not even including the backfield. Lamb, Cooks, Gallup, Schoonmaker, Ferguson, Hendershot, Tolbert isn't that bad of a top 7. That's actually, I think, good enough. So, and you can do the one bad injury, you're in trouble in a lot of places. Leighton Vander Esch goes down, you're in trouble. We saw what happens when the corners go down, right? Tony Pollard goes down, you're in trouble. Tyron Smith, Zach Martin goes down, you're in trouble. So Chris B says if Lamb or Cooks get hurt, we are in big trouble. It worries me. I'll also say this. You still have to balance the, ideally it's insurance, right? You don't want to pay so much insurance that you're paying way more than what you need to cost just the replacement there. So it's not like there's a lot of great receivers out there in the open market. Like, you can sign T.Y. now or in 2 months, I think. Lance Dunbar's burner. Right, so the young linebackers or get some player trade for Isaiah Simmons. I'd call about Isaiah Simmons. I would. I expect the Cowboys want to see what they have with the young guys, but I'm not mad about looking at Isaiah Simmons. And Will Marshall, $5. A Pollard-induced package has to be included in the McCarthy playbook, right? The matchups of those two in field together are insane. I think you should have some 21 personnel package. That's, 2 running backs, and a tight end. I would love to see them both on the football field. The Cowboys have said for a long time now, we've got Pollard in the slot in the playbook. He's been getting slot receiver reps. They haven't really done it. I would like to see them actually do it with Mike McCarthy. Was that a Cowboys general lie, or is that a Kellen Moore lie? We'll find out. If your question was not answered, I got you on Twitter. Slide in to my DMs at whatgoingdowning.